So there is a special county in Tibet. The name is Motuo. In Chinese, is called Motuo, or maybe in Tibetan, it's called Motek. And it is the last county in China to have highway. It has the stable highway. It didn't have the stable highway until 2013 because of the geographic characteristics. So on the map, so I can show you where Motuo is. It's here. It's in the southeast part of Tibet, and it's on the southern slope of Himalayas. So I think you know about the Himalayas, right? Why Himalayas was formed? Because it's the collision between the Eurasian plate and the Indian plate, and the collision is still continuing. So that here the earthquakes, the landslides, and it's very the disasters, the natural disasters are very frequent. So that's one of the reasons why it's very, very, very difficult to build a highway. Because of lack of highway or the modern transportation ways, and it's very difficult for the local people to contact with the people outside the county. So we can have a look at the pictures. Here, actually, it's very beautiful. You see the mountains, it's snow-capped mountains, and it's very beautiful, but it's very difficult for the people, the local people, to get out of the county to contact with other people outside the county. And for a long time, actually, barely, only a few people know this beautiful county, and many people go there for like adventures. And there are two ways. Okay, so before, okay, there were two ways for people, the local people, to get out of the county and to contact with other people. There are two ways, and each way would take like 4 or 5 days. Okay, 4 or 5 days to get out of the county and go to the nearest city. And they can only get out, they could only get out of the county on foot, or they used the horses or mules to carry the goods for them. So before the highway was built, so do you think it's easy for the people there to develop economy?
No, 老师.
Yes.
No, 老师.
Yeah. So it's very difficult for them to develop the economy. Sorry for this vague picture. So this picture showed you it's kind of light landslide, and it's very, very frequent. So it's very dangerous for them, even though they wanted to get out of the county to get some goods, and it was very dangerous because they usually met with the natural disasters. And here is the way they get out of the county: the forest, the waters, and the snowlands. And here, so this is a picture of the local people. So actually, they are minority ethnics. So there are two main minority ethnics. They are Mongba and Luomen, and their work before was like carrying goods for the tourists, and this is the only way actually. So of course they also they also planted some, they also did farming, okay? So they plant some food for themselves, but they can only feed themselves. And in order to make more money, what they can only do is to carry goods for the tourists or carry goods for the maybe some businessmen. And they use the horses or mules to carry goods. And actually, the roads or the modern highway was started to build from 1975. Okay? From 1975, the government started to build roads to this county. However, because of the geographic characteristics, very, very difficult to build the roads. Even though the road was built, and then maybe after a few days, the roads were destroyed by the natural disasters. So for like more than 30 or 50 years, they didn't have this kind of modern highway. And in 2013, okay, then in 2013, they had the standard highway. But this standard highway is only to the county, okay, only to the county, not all the villages, only to the county. But anyway, so it connected the county with the outside world. And there is a local product which is very popular and interesting in this county. It's a kind of stone pot, and it's very popular. And after the highway was built, many businessmen like sell this kind of stone pot to outside world. And before, if you want to buy this kind of pot, it's very heavy, right? You have to carry it. And maybe some people or some tourists like this kind of pot, but it's too heavy, so they don't want to buy. But right now they have the highway, and a lot of people buy this online, buy this pot online, and it's very easy to transport the pots to the outside world. And this is one of the main industries in this county. Besides, so just now I showed you the location of the county, right? And the temperature is very mild, and there is a lot of, and it's a mountain, and a lot of water and rainfall. So it's a very, it's a good place for tea production. So tea production now has become one of the most important income sources in this county. And because of county and highway now, and more tourists have traveled to the beautiful county. So traveling now is the main, one of the main industries in the county too. And we can have a look at the GDP of Motuo from 2016 to 2020. Every year it increases a little. And before county, and this county of Motuo, of course, it was in the list of the poverty. However, in February 2019, this county removed from the poverty list because of the highway, and the highway brought more tourists, and the highway can transport the products from this county to the outside world, so that the county can attract more money and more people, so that the economy of this county is becoming better and better. So this is a case of alleviation of poverty by developing transportation. And just now I mentioned that just now I mentioned that the highway, okay, the highway is only to the county, but around the county, there are many villages. So there are many villages, and from the county to the villages, the transportation is still very harsh. It's still very difficult to access the villages. So besides building the highways, there is another way to try to alleviate the poverty, is to relocate the rural poor people. So for example, in some villages, okay, there is maybe only one household or two households. And just for this one or two households to, for them to build a highway, it costs a lot, right? So for those who live under unfavorable natural conditions or in fragile environment or in areas suffering frequent disasters, so there is another way to help them, is to relocate them. It means that the government build the houses in the county for them, and then suggest them to move to the county. And of course, at the same time, the government will help them to find jobs and to help the kids to find the schools, so that they can have stable income to support the family. So this is another way. However, okay, actually relocation, as for relocation, we don't build roads, but we move the people to the places where the transportation is good. So actually, it's also another way to improve traffic access. It's another way. But however, at the same time, not all people don't want to move to the modern houses, to the places where the transportation is better. Here I showed you two pictures. I screenshotted the pictures from a documentary. There are two people. This one is an old man, and you can see where he lives now. Actually, it's not a house for him. It's not a house for him. He just lives in a cave. He just lives in the cave. So you can see how harsh local people is, the environment of the local people is. But this old man doesn't want to move. Actually, right now, so in the documentary, this old man is already sick, and very, very sick. Okay, very, very sick, but he's unwilling to move to the modern county. And here is some government officials who is trying to persuade this old man to move to the modern county because now you are sick, right? And the environment you are living is not very good, and it's not very good for your health. But anyway, he doesn't want to move. He says that this is my home, and my parents, my grandparents died here, and I just want to die here. I don't want to move. And the second picture is a young man. Of course, he wants to leave this poor county, poor village, and move to the modern city. But anyway, he is touching this mule. I think it's a mule, right? He says that although I'm willing to move to a better place, I will still miss my old home and my old animals, because if I move to the modern places, I cannot have them anymore. I cannot have the mules anymore. because after he moves out, he doesn't have to do farming anymore. He becomes a truck driver. He becomes a truck driver. So these two things, okay, these two things touched me a lot. So although the government had a better idea for them to help them to get rich, to help them to have more money, to have better living condition, but maybe sometimes they don't want to. Or maybe sometimes they don't want to. So I just shared the case of Motuo with you. And so of course, building the highway, improve the traffic access is a very good way to help them to get rich, to have a better life. But at the same time, maybe we rethink, okay, maybe we rethink about the ideas of connect them with our way or bad way. So here is the question. So which one is better, okay? To protect the natural environment and indigenous folklore, or connect them to the wider world to change the traditional lifestyle in order. So of course, the aim, okay, the goal is to help them to have a better life. So the aim is to help them to have a better life. So which one is better? Which one is better? So now we are going to go to the groups to discuss about this question.